Fnaf, a popular indie game in 2014, later going mainstream, the brand that keeps funk alive. Fnaf has always been an indie game meant for PCs. Oh yeah, for fuck's sakes, yeah, they made a console version. Keep in mind, these all released after these games have long been released on computers. So let's go down the rabbit hole with the bad Fnaf console ports.
You fucking up right now! She is such a bad bitch though! I will fuck the shit out of that robot, man. I'm not even...
Fnaf 1, the one that started it all. I was expecting maybe for it to be converted to 4K, maybe for the PlayStation, but yeah. Frankly, it looks worse. This one is really pixelated, which doesn't help because of the larger screen. On computer, it's not really an issue because the screen's not that big, but when converting it to the console and, you know, having a bigger screen, the pixels start to stand out way more. And also, you use the joystick to flip through cameras. And it frankly plays a bit worse than the original, but you also have some cheats. This port is alright in my opinion. Like, sure, it's not the best, but sure, it's probably better on PC or mobile, but hey, it's still Fnaf 1.
Oh, what do we do?
No, I see it. I know what we have to do. I know what to do. We have to pull our dick out and start humping the screen.
What?
What? I show speech. What?
It frankly plays a bit worse than the original. A sequel to the OG Fnaf, we have Fnaf 2 for the PS4. You can hear the money coming in. I might be a bit biased since I never was the biggest Fnaf 2 fan. And then you get the phone call from the phone guy.
Yo, 148, 3 to the 3 to the 6 to the 9, representing the ABQ. What up, biatch? Leave it at the tone.
Now, memes aside, I think Fnaf 2 frankly isn't the best on the console. You have to pull up the Freddy mask, you have to pull out the laptop with the controls on your remote determining that. This one's alright, it still has the issues of it being super pixelated on console due to the large TV. Fnaf 3, I could say frankly, I still think this game is weak. Yeah, the thing is this is donkey cheeks. The jump scares aren't scary and you die to this furry motherfucker. Wanna know what's even worse than Fnaf 3? Fnaf 3 on console! Even worse resolution than the other games. Yeah, it's frankly not the best port in my opinion. Like, Fnaf 3 already sucks as a game in my opinion, and playing it on console certainly did not help that. Like, sure it has a similar controls to the other games, which I find okay. But as a port, I guess it's fine, but I just don't like Fnaf 3 in general, so that might be my bias.
On 3, 1, 2! Was that the bite of 87?
Now I have to say, this is the scariest one. Now, for the fact that Fnaf 4 is like a listening game, it's not like the previous ones where you have to look on the cameras. This one's all about hearing. So that's why it's always recommended you play with headphones. Well, if you don't have headphones, you're basically fucked. Yeah, that's right. If you're playing on console, you basically have to get like headphones. And we all know everybody in the Call of Duty lobby doesn't exactly have headphones. So if you don't have headphones, it's basically not playable. Or at least you can't beat it. Although I did find the controls a bit annoying with, even if you like don't intend to like look back, you constantly look back just because you actually press the button to look back. Honestly, and it's still very much pixelated, which this was fixed on the PC, but it still messes with the console versions. Overall, not a good port.
I am not bipolar. I'm not in some kind of episode, but I may be slightly autistic.
So Sister Location still looks very much pixelated. It still has awful controls, although you can actually see them mapped out since Sister Location is very much like a story-based game, so it tells you when the inputs are actually on the screen. With this game actually pissed me off. Now, it's not because Sister Location is a bad game per se, it's just the port is actually frustrating as fuck to play. So you see how on Sister Location you have to use a scroll button like a mouse? This is why we have a mouse on the computer. But you see, controlling it with a joystick is not always reliable. So you could be going for like the right key and end up getting jump scared because you accidentally pushed the wrong key because of the giant arrow. So let's say you wanted to put in a code. and you accidentally misput it because the mouse, the visual mouse you use to control the joystick isn't exactly up to par. Granted, they did make settings for it, but it's just this location just works being a PC game only in my opinion. It shouldn't have been ported. And don't get me started with Custom Night. I played it one night and never touched that shit again. Overall, just an awful port in general.
This is a replica of Andy's room from Toy Story.
Still has issues with it being pixelated, but you don't have the cursor. You can actually use the D-pad this time to choose options like the audio test. And you also get cheats. And I noticed it's not that actually, the Pizzeria Simulator is actually not that bad in my opinion. Like, it's actually like a pretty decent port. This was actually handled the best out of all the games. So overall, this is probably the best port we have so far.
It's a new day. It's your time to shine. It's time to take your career into your own hands. You've saved money your whole life. Great. Now it's time to put all your eggs into one basket and take a huge gamble on your future.
Now, I'm be real, I don't like Custom Night in general, even on PC, because of its fucking controls. Now, I knew it was either gonna fix it or be even worse. This was $8 on console, and it's arguably the worst because of the controls again. Like, Custom Night is the one you pick the animatronics. You get to pick the animatronics on the thing, right? So with that being said, it's still very much pixelated and it's still not really a good game with the port. Overall, the FNAF console ports all have one thing in common. It's like they're trying to do it, but they're trying to make the FNAF ports on the consoles, but it doesn't convert really that well. Besides Pizzeria Simulator, I feel like none of them really converted the console, and that makes sense because the first couple games were only meant for PC and maybe mobile. Mobile actually worked pretty decently. The mobile versions of the game actually worked pretty well, in my opinion. Unless you did how Pizzeria Simulator did it. Where it's like you can actually control it using the D-pad, you don't have to rely so much on the cursor. But in my opinion, the FNAF console ports are not worth the money and not worth the $8 you're potentially losing for a $5 game on Steam.